The Spotlight, shining a light on podcasts and videos that have caught our attention.
Hi and welcome to The Spotlight. I'm Jen Spiker, and today I'm highlighting a video you'll find on the Vision app. But the conversation was originally from Vision's national breakfast show, Rise and Shine. Each weekday morning, Phil and DJ fire up the studio with a whole lot of fun, some interesting guests, useful real-life biblical insight, plus positive music to get your day going in the right direction. A recent guest on the program was the upcoming Christian artist SIR-SEENA. After a brief visit to Australia last year, SIR-SEENA joined Phil and DJ to share some exciting plans for a return trip in the second half of 2024.
The Spotlight with Jen Spiker.
We got on the line, of course, the lovely SIR-SEENA. SIR-SEENA, so good to see you again.
It's so great to see you again as well. I'm loving the green vibes, the green glasses.
Yes. I went fresh for you this morning here. The big announcement that we've got to do, and I want to cut straight to the chase of this. We got to hang out with you last year, and that was so much fun, and it was wonderful having you here in Australia. Now, would it be right that last year when you were here, it was almost like a bit of a, let's just kick the tires and see what the Australian vibe is, and let's see if I can, what else I can do while I'm here. And you were able to open up in concert for a few locations for Jeremy Camp when he was here.
Yeah.
Now that you've been here and you've seen around, what is coming up this year?
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's really such a gift. Last year when I came in October, November time, that was my first time in Australia. So it was definitely a dipping of the toe in the water. And I'm just really so blown away by the kindness and hospitality and just the creativity that's there. So this year, I'm super thrilled that I actually get to come back in September and be a part of the Christian Media Arts Conference that's been confirmed. And then also in the process, which is going to be amazing. And in the process of kind of dialing in some tour dates that will probably be on the East Coast as well. So pulling some stuff together for that. But so I'm so excited to come back, to be able to share some more creativity. And I'm kind of in an album cycle again this year. So I'm an independent artist, so there's kind of a constant flow of material coming anyway. So I've got a lot of new music to share that I'm really excited to kind of translate in a live setting too. So it's going to be
all right. Big question, SIR-SEENA. Is it going to time up with you arriving over here around that September time in Australia? Is that going to time up hopefully with a new album coming out?
Potentially.
Oh, scoop! Here we go.
He's putting the pieces together.
Just for you guys.
Yes. Now, I love it. Now, getting a little bit, personal here. Last time you came down, we had some really wonderful times, deeping meaningfuls. Yourself, I remember you chatting to Leah, chatting to the wonderful Steve Munro there, and you were telling us your story of how you packed everything up after a lifetime in the music industry, with everybody else, and you just felt God calling you to the wild, wild west of California, where everyone's like, what are you doing? Where you're an unknown quantity. It's so hard and competitive. People say Nashville is really hard. Mate, take it up 1,000 levels to, Los Angeles and California. You're still there?
Yes. Shockingly. Yes, I'm totally still there. It's been such a journey. And it's been this season in particular, I feel like there's just been a lot of waiting on God, and just things that he's spoken even leading up to moving out there, and just having to sit still and a prayer at the beginning of this year. 'Cause I'll always take some time just to kind of let the year start out a bit quiet, make sure just a lot of prayer and fasting just to commit that front part of the year to the Lord. And something that kind of emerged out of that prayer time was just this really heart cry to not take matters into my own hands with anything. Because I just as a human being, I feel like that just wanting to have things figured out or have a sense of control or stability, even though we're not good at taking care of myself and trying to figure things out. And so at the beginning of this year, just really praying and asking God, and saying, I don't want to take matters in my own hands. And so in the months following, I really felt myself being in a place of having to sit still and trust the Lord with some certain aspects of my life. And it's been an interesting year so far, but I know I'm like right in the pocket of where I need to be. And I am still in LA. So we parked the car here. And so I'm so grateful to be here. And it's not that it's easy, but I definitely feel like I have a sense of purpose there. And so it's, in that regard, it's such a joy. So we're hanging in there and just all the creativity that's come out of it and the people that I've had a chance to interact with too has been awesome.
Okay, so looking from the outside in, what's the big, I mean, we think Nashville South, you know, a bit of country, a bit of Christian, you know, it's the home of that, you know, the music industry thing. And we think LA, we think, you know, movies, you know, everyone trying to make it famous and everything like that. But for you as an artist working in both of those scenes, what's the biggest difference that you've seen personally? What's the vibe in both?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot as far as the entertainment. Los Angeles is such a large city, and there's a larger scope of genres, a larger scope of everything. So you've got acting, you've got social media, you've got different genres of music, that it's just a much larger scale of everything that you would have in Nashville. And I think, I mean, it was kind of interesting because I know there's quite a few believers in ministries that are in Los Angeles and some amazing things that have come out of LA. But Nashville is kind of known for country music and also like the hub and kind of home plate for a lot of contemporary Christian music as well. So for me to go from Nashville to LA was a little bit counterintuitive and the Christian aspect of things, just because that's where all of that is happening. But yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest difference is just LA is such a much larger scale, and culturally you've got people, it's a lot larger of a melting pot of cultures, whereas Nashville definitely has like kind of Southern root system there for sure. So culturally, it's just a little bit different. So, and you've got people that are coming from all over, and you've got an explosion of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Wow. And look, thinking about that move of culture that you've had, how has that influenced the new music which is coming out? What's the goal of songs? I can see Loyal. When I'm looking through your Instagram, there's lots of posts and lots of singing. It's beautiful. What's the goal when you're recording and you're thinking through those new songs coming through now?
Yeah, it was interesting because I had a conversation with somebody that moved from LA to Nashville right before I moved from Nashville to LA. And they were saying they were there for a couple years and kind of gave like a piece of advice and just said that just the nature of the city and kind of the lifestyle, it's a little bit of a harder place to live in just with the cost of living, because you've got, I mean, LA's got its own kind of landscape and things that they deal with and struggle with. So there's kind of a sense of grit. So this person was telling me, like, when you go out there, it's all of your life experiences is going to kind of overflow into your creativity. And there's going to be a level of grit that you can't get otherwise. And so I feel like just living there, I've had to grow up in a lot of ways that I'm like, I can see 2.5 years in how God's like really changed me as a person and how I see the world. And I do feel like in the creativity, there's a level of depth and kind of just, like digging a little bit deeper on a lot of different levels. And hopefully that's coming and overflowing into the music as well. Yeah. And this season creatively is specifically, there's been a lot more like up-tempo tracks that I've been writing to as well. So LA is such a beautiful city. The weather is always gorgeous, and it's very fast paced. So I feel like even that, with some of the like tempo of the tracks and the overall vibe of things has been influenced by just being there.
You know, one thing that's interesting, because you talk about how beautiful it is. When I'm looking through Instagram, I'm noticing a lot of singing in car parks. Is that helpful with the creativity as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's aesthetically perhaps maybe not the most like, but we love beauty with a touch of grunge. The contrast is always a nice thing, but I've definitely been going to a lot of parking garages because the the reverb is fabulous, and I've been kicked out of a couple, so I have I have yet to find one that I'm safe to.
Okay.
We'll have to find you some Aussie ones.
Well,
hey?
I'm gonna, and I'm not, and I mean this, SVRCINA. I'm going to hook you up with Australia has got a guy. He's a Christian artist from the band Takawa in Melbourne. He is viral for singing in garages.
Oh, really? So he would know where to go.
He, and you and him. I'll tell you right now. You and him will get along like a house on fire. I'll make that happen. I'll make that happen behind the scenes.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind. Do I smell a duet?
Yes, it's going to happen.
Smell
I'll send it to you on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, SVRCINA, we mentioned your new single "Loyal." It's out now. We're loving it here. What do you want people to know in it? And I feel listening to it, there's a little bit of tension in the lyrics of thinking, of sort of realizing, thinking about people's loyalty to you, but then sort of contrasting that to God's loyalty to you in your life. Have I got that right, or am I misrepresenting it there?
No, that's exactly right. And it's always fun to be able to communicate and have songs that are able to kind of encompass both the relationships from person to person, but also kind of mirror that relationship with God and us as well. And I co-wrote this song in 2021, and it was interesting because I started in the process of planning for a project, and I'll always pray about what kind of themes does God want to highlight. And I really felt, and I had written down in a couple notes that he was wanting to highlight friendship and healing relationships in different aspects. And so Loyal came out of kind of the front end of that season. So I think the goal of that song is to really just kind of say thank you to and acknowledge those people in your life that you've seen their faithfulness. And I feel like the character of God, and because God is loyal, it's in his very nature to us. And of course, the greatest expression of that is through the person of Jesus. And that loyalty that God shows to humanity is meant to be seen in our relationships with one another. And I know that kind of betrayal and rejection and loneliness are things that a lot of people experience and feel in relationships. And so to be able to acknowledge those people and that relationship with God, that he really is always there. And there are certain people in our life that really beautifully express that kind of kindness and that kind of love that we need to see. So Loyal is really just a thank you to those people.
On the Spotlight, we've been listening to a conversation that Phil and DJ had with SIR-SEENA. Her song Loyal can now be heard on V180. And listen out for lots more from SIR-SEENA in the future, including some Australian concerts later this year. You can watch Phil and DJ's chat with SIR-SEENA by tapping the Watch tab in the free Vision app. You'll find it in the Rise and Shine channel. If you have a favourite podcast or video series that you'd like to hear featured on the Spotlight, click Contact Us at vision.org.au and share the link. My name is Jen Spiker, and I look forward to joining you next time on the Spotlight as I share another podcast or video that deserves highlighting.
For more great podcasts and videos like the one featured today, check out vision.org.au or the free Vision app.